Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone. A quick announcement. We're going to take a little holiday break the next 2 weeks. So next week, we're going to pull something out from behind the Patreon curtain for you. And then the following Monday, January 5th, we are doing a Patreon exclusive live stream. So if you support us at any tier, you can watch our live stream recapping 2025, doing an off-the-shelf beer blind taste test, and looking forward to 2026. We'll come back into the main feed on January 12th with the godfather of craft brewing. I'll let you take a guess who that is. Enjoy this episode of the Taplist series exploring White Horse English Porter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Respecting the Beer. My name is Gary Arndt, and with me on this episode are Brewing Magazine's 2026 Power Couple of the Year, Bobby. That is the official name. We've established that. Your birth name.
Hey, at least we're not talking about my middle name.
That's true.
Allison will do that.
How many do you have?
It's just one, but they're two names together. I think we've talked about this before. Lindale is his middle name.
There's a street in town like that, so it's okay.
Bobby Lindale.
Yeah, get back in here.
Allison, middle name unknown.
Michelle. Oh, technically Michelle McCoy.
Dr. Michelle
Yeah.
McCoy.
Hold it. Michelle's your first name?
No. So Allison Michelle
Allison.
McCoy Fleshman.
Oh.
And because I can't have two last names, because Oklahoma didn't understand that I didn't want to hyphenate it. They're like, well, you can't have two last names.
They just allowed you to vote like 5 years before
you just
moved away.
So I was,
Do what rich people always did historically. Like
which was
George Walker Bush. Walker is the family name from his mother's side.
Yeah.
And that's what they would always do.
Right.
Is just use it as a middle name, but then go by that.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's-
So I wanted to keep the McCoy, but Oklahoma wouldn't let me put it as like two last names that wasn't hyphenated. So I was like, cool. So I'm just going to add it to my middle name. So I have two middle names now. Michelle McCoy. Hey. Go team.
Why do I think there's a Michelle McCoy who's like a celebrity?
Because I am one, and that's cool. I don't know.
You ever hear the story behind Harry S. Truman?
Sure, there's a few
There
of
have
those.
been many.
You know what his middle name is? S. He didn't have a middle name. So he's like, well, it would sound a lot better if I had something. So he just picked the initial S. It's S. That's all it is. Harry S. Truman.
Nice.
The S stands for S.
That's lovely. So speaking of lovely, what beer are we talking about today?
We are going to jump on the White Horse.
White Horse. This is the night for that.
So this is, I'd say, one of your better known cask beers that you have. So why don't you describe, how would you describe White Horse?
Well, you want to tell just a 2-minute recap of the trip to Tadcaster?
Yes. We went to Tadcaster, England. Bobby was there for the MOP meeting, the Magnetospheres of the Outer Planets meeting in London. And we rented
yes, there's a gold-plated or brass-plated mop that we
they
share.
pass around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we drive up to Leeds. We grab a car and we move over to Tadcaster, teeny tiny town where Sam & Smith Brewing Company is. We walk in and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And we're like, "We're here for the tour." And they're like, "We don't do that. Go to the pub." And so we just went and hung out at the pub the whole time. And it was the White Horse and Angel pub. And the publican there knew we were not from around there. And he basically schooled us on what casks really are. And anything we ordered, he just shook his head no. And he was like, "You'll have this instead," in the most glorious English accent. And we had the Taddy Porter was there.
Which was really one of my foundational beers.
It was like an
Yeah.
elixir. It was amazing.
Pretty much anything that Sam Smith made then or now.
But the cask, it was a warm English cozy pub. The casks were just, I think there was 5 of them or 6, I can't remember. But each one of them was just as glorious and smooth and creamy as possible.
Yeah, this is the location that had the Shire horses. You know, that's how they delivered beer.
And they were like right, the Shire horses were just right where we were sitting.
Yeah.
Not in the pub, but in the little courtyard area.
They were incognito. They were at a booth.
And so in this, we'll just jump to the label because we're talking about it. So we named the beer the White Horse, and she has a little sister. The White Horse Porter has a lighter version, which is the British Mild or the English Mild. And that one's named Mild Angel after the pub, which was the White Horse and Angel. And then the logo on the beer is a picture of a white horse. Go figure. But that is the painting that's hanging in the White Horse. And Alex Schultz contacted the pub there and said, hey, we're making a beer kind of in the honor of the White Horse and Angel. Would you mind if we had a picture of that and put it on our logo? And they said, sure. And so that's what the White Horse is. That's actually the painting that's in the pub there.
It's a really great label.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's the painting, but yeah.
Strangely enough, a lot of your best labels are not necessarily your best-selling beers.
Yeah.
I think your worst label is 547.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's interesting. I think that was meant. I'm here defending the artist or trying to tell. It's meant to be kind of inspired by when you take you press these artworks on paper. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? Where you take wood blocks and you
Woodblock prints?
maybe. Sorry.
You mean like flower pressings?
Yeah. Can you use? What would you just? How do you describe 547 label?
As a Fillmore poster.
Is it
Yeah.
kind of?
Like, it
Yeah.
could be more psychedelic if you wanted to go
Yeah.
that route.
That's what I think.
But I think your best label for a can is Yorkshire Round.
Oh, that's fun.
I think that's the best one by far.
that is your colleague, right? That did the artwork.
No,
on
that's no. Tony Conrad did the
Doppelbock?
Doppelbock.
Okay.
No, Christian. Oh God, Christian. I'm so sorry. I forgot your last name. He does the FSM.
Yeah. Fuck social media.
That
right?
one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what it's called.
Well, anyway,
It's a
that
magazine
label is
about
very
anti-social media.
abstract. That's really cool that you noticed that.
What 547 reminds me of, if you've never seen the movie Fantasia 2000.
Oh my God,
which
that's funny.
You should with Jade. There's different segments, and there's one where I think it's Stravinsky's.
The Rite of Spring.
No, it's the fireworks. It's the finale to. But anyways, there's a scene from that, and there's like a wood nymph, and that's what
That is so funny.
it
Well,
reminds me of.
that artist, Chad Brady, did so many murals. And he did our David Bowie mural. There's actually Chad Brady Day in Appleton because he's done so many murals. He's the one that did our 547 label. But anyway, White Horse, back to that.
This is the character from.
I'm
that
now
segment.
looking at a picture of she looks like the She-Hulk. That's cool. Firebird Suite by Stravinsky.
But
Fantasia 2000.
This is the character in the animated thing.
Cool.
Which reminds me of the 547 logo.
I like that. That's nice.
Anyways,
There we go.
But you don't like the 547 logo.
no, but I'm saying it reminds me of this, not
I
San
see.
Francisco.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't give Fillmore strongly from it either.
But what do you think of the White Horse, since we're speaking about White Horse?
Oh,
I mean, it's a white
wow,
horse.
it's hard to go from. Now I'm in the headspace of 547.
I think the White Horse label is a good one too.
Yeah,
It's very classic. It's
I also appreciate that it's the way that they would name pubs in England. It's the White Horse. There's a big sign, and it's the White Horse.
it's usually an adjective and an animal.
the Queen's Arms,
Well,
Black Crow, the
Yeah.
whatever.
I thought of another one the other day. Anyway, so here we go. Porters. As you guys were talking, I was thinking, how do we frame what a porter, English porter, really is?
What's the difference? Because we just did the episode on Public House Pint, our stout. What's the difference between a stout and a porter?
Yeah, so I was going there. So I think that malt technology of the time really created porters, and brewing technology of the time, because in England you didn't have microbiology 400 years ago. You didn't have a sense about what was contaminated, because every beer goes sour after a given amount of time in England 300 years ago, let's say, because no one has a sense about sanitation like we do today. So they drink it fast, or they can blend new stuff with old stuff, and if it's a little tart, it blends away. And that's sort of where porters became their own. And the color and the flavor of a porter would have been darker because the technology of kilning the malts would have imbued these darker colors and flavors. Smoke was every beer back then because everything's direct kiln by wood fire. So that's kind of like the beginning of porters, and there was push through modernization to make malts lighter in color, less intense, more drinkable, and that's where you get your pale malts, and you get pale ales coming from England, your bitters and your IPAs. And then on the other extreme, somebody in Ireland created this machine called Black Patent. And it was a roaster that created the Black Patent malt from, and that's where your Irish stout came from. So I think in a lot of ways that your porter kind of stands in the middle of those two directions. And an English porter, it has this nice little coffee-ness to it that comes from the roasting process. It gives those malts the same flavors like it does actual coffee. My favorite malt, probably of all time, is Thomas Fawcett Pale Chocolate Malt. I'll go back and grab a handful now and bring it out here maybe in a minute. And you guys will taste something that's not acrid. It's just delicious. It's just if a sort of a baker's chocolate and a malt had a baby, this is what would come out. It's so delicious. It's in this beer. It's one of the signature malts in this beer. And then we also put a little sweetness in there from the English, what are called crystal malt, which is different than like a caramel malt in the United States. And if I haven't described this before, caramel malts are a technology by which you can actually hydrate the kernel, the barley kernel, while it's going through its germination process, and you can heat it up such that it encases the water, and think of it as a teeny tiny little mash tun, and inside that kernel, it's converting those sugars, those starches into sugars, and then you ramp up the temperature quickly before it cools down. You can actually crystallize those sugars into tiny little candies. And you'll break your teeth if you try to chew these things. But you grind them up and you throw them in the mash, and it dissolves back into the solution, and it gives you this sweetness and this flavor you can't get in any other way. And we've gone on that even the Czechs and the Germans have simulated and here in the United States we've done the same. But the English have really done a great job with these. So all that's kind of thrown in. I look at the recipe of this thing, and I'm like, God, did a home brewer come up with that?
Yes.
And he did. And it's stupid. There's so many malts in this particular recipe, and I don't know which one I should mess with, if any. So I don't really touch it. It's got an annoying amount of hops malts, and to stage it up is just nerve-wracking because you can mess it up if you're not paying attention. I put 2 different flavors of chocolate malt in here, 2 different caramel malts. I put some wheat malt in here. What's that?
I'm just shaking my head no, because now I'm got Gary sitting next to me and I'm thinking about running a business, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this smart for us to do all this fancy
I know.
stuff?
And then
I'm glaring at you right now.
And then one of the most
It is if you let people know you're doing it.
Hey, we're doing all this craziness
So we're doing this
for White
crazy
Horse.
stuff. And then brown malt. Brown malt is another signature
Which is why
ingredient.
we are doing these episodes.
That's
Yes.
so fair.
Brown malt is a signature malt in this too. It borders on, I don't want to say acrid, but it definitely tends in that direction. And you're trying to tease out some chocolate notes, some baker's chocolate, some coffee. None of this is supposed to be sweet, although it definitely has a pleasant sweetness to it that blends right into those other flavors. And then the base malt is a Golden Promise by Thomas Fawcett, which is a very sweet it's Scottish malting
Fun fact,
company.
you know where porter got its name?
Ooh, where?
I do know, but I
Yes.
want to hear your answer because
It was popular with porters.
The people that carried luggage?
Yeah.
That's fair.
And was it popular? Did they serve it on the? Did they also serve as
Wasn't it like
bartenders
a
on the train?
No, it was the waste product.
It was
for the,
before-
Well, that's what I was saying
Trains.
earlier. So you
Yeah.
have the sourness
Yeah.
of these older beers. You blend with new ones. You create. They call it 3. There are 3 threads, and you could blend like new, medium, and old together to get the right tartness and sweetness.
This came out before trains, so it couldn't have been
Okay.
porters for trains. It had to
Oh.
have been
Yeah. Okay.
either people doing it for coaches or
Yeah.
for ships or something like that.
That's cool.
But
And that's where it came from. So it's a very democratic beer, I would think, at the end of the
Do we
day.
put White Horse through the open fermenter?
Oh, all of our English beers go. I was going to say that. Yeah. So the open fermentation tank we've talked about maybe many times. We've converted it to simulate how beers were fermented in England back in the day and today, and that is to reduce stress on the yeast and to promote these lightly fruity notes. Our yeast, I talked about Augustiner for our lagers. For our English ales, it's all about Timothy Taylor. Timothy Taylor is related to the Green King and the Sam Smith brewing companies. And I think it makes, as far as Swiss Army knives go, it's the broadest. It has utility in so many different ways with the English beers. So we do the Timothy Taylor on all these.
Water.
That's a good question.
Well, fortunately, you do pretty well when you have dark beers at driving that pH down, which is another important factor in brewing. And I didn't mention that previously when we were talking about our Pilsner. It's very light. Well, you need a little assistance bringing that down. If you're doing a light beer, you're going to want to bring in either some calcium or magnesium, which will drive your pH down, but you don't want to do that when you're making a Pilsner. One way you'll do that with a Pilsner is you can use a German acidified malt. And then you ask yourself, well, how in the hell do the Germans do that with the Reinheitsgebot? Well, guess what? You can add water to malt and let the bacteria that sit on that malt acidify it over a given amount of time, and then you can dry that and use that as an ingredient to drop the pH.
Raising my hand because I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the ABV of our Holday?
We try to keep that one below 5. That's traditional.
So it's like 4.
I think it's 4.748.
4.7.
And that's a function of the residual sugar.
I think it's amazing because isn't the White Horse 4.4 or 4.5?
I think it is, yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing because one of the things that I'm just changing the subject. Not that I don't love your deep dive into all the fancy things, malt.
Yeah, pH.
But I stopped paying attention as I was looking at my phone. But a lot of folks will tell us that I don't like heavy beers or dark beers because they're just too high in alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Take
their
sip with their eyes. First sip with their eyes.
Yeah. And the Holday that we just did an episode on is very crisp and light. She dances on the tongue.
And she's considered light in the spectrum of beers.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's higher alcohol than our heavy porter, which is not at all heavy. It's very creamy, but it's also 4.6%.
Another fun fact. When they first started using hydrometers in the late 18th century, guess what the ABV was of porters at the time in London?
7.
I'm going to guess 3.5 because I don't think they fermented well.
6.6.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first measurements they made was on that. And it went down, I guess, in the Napoleonic era.
Okay.
That's cool. Oh, yeah. Gotta ration it out.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about an old world porter recipe. How you get to 6, because they didn't ferment very well.
Wait a minute.
Start
Wasn't
really
the
high.
Second Chance Porter?
Second Chance is, she's related to this beer.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good God.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
this is
Second
the
Chance is a would-be bourbon age. We've never done it.
robust porter.
I want to do this double mash and then age it in bourbon barrel.
We need to tell our listeners what we're talking about.
You back up 20 steps.
Yes. So the Second Chance Porter. What was the style? Was it a robust porter?
I never made Second Chance.
What?
So it would have
Not
been
here in.
Well, I never
4 times.
It was never made at all in the real world.
It was. We won nationals with it.
Was that with Second Chance?
Yes.
No,
Hang
I
on.
don't
We're
remember
having
that.
a marriage conversation right now.
No, that was a
You have
would-be.
so many goddamn awards. You don't even know what you
Oh my
win.
God. We won silver in the national MCAB, the homebrewer something masters.
competition something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fun thing is like the medal is legit big. It's
Oh yeah,
like,
it's bigger than
it's
anything
like
we've got
5
as a
inches
professional
across,
brewery.
and it's thick, and it's like silver.
I also
and
got that giant stein for that cider from I won all of Texas.
that's
with.
that's downstairs in the tap room when he won the best cider in all of Texas. But no, the silver medal was that was our
Surprised it
first
was like a spur or something.
national win. God, that must have been 2010,
ago.
maybe 2009. But that was Second Chance Porter, which was a I want to say it was a robust porter, but it was
It
like,
was an American porter.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's coming back to me now. Yeah, so that's a hoppy.
But this is one
caramel,
where I told
yeah.
Bobby, he was like, what kind of beer do you want me to brew? And I was like, I want you to brew a beer that has, like, when you take a bite of vanilla ice cream, but it's got drizzled hot chocolate or hot chocolate syrup on top of it. You smell the chocolate, but then you take the bite with the spoon and you get the cold feeling on your tongue that's the vanilla. I want that contrast of I'm smelling the chocolate but tasting the vanilla simultaneously. And he made this beer. Oh, it's so good. And we named it Second Chance after your
We'll
dog.
dig that one up. That
Yeah.
recipe's buried somewhere. I forgot about that.
Anyway.
In any case, we talked about double strength on this beer and aging it
that
in
thing
bourbon
was
barrel.
like 8 or 9%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, great segue. We'll get back to the water question. But Whitehorse, we just put Whitehorse last year, or maybe the beginning of this year. We put it into a cask with all 547 hops. We were just fucking around. And what came out was kind of mind-blowing. Unanimously, people were telling this is the best black IPA, because we were kind of like flying it under that name, that you could ever have made. Because a black IPA is going to look dark. It won't be like stout roasty, and it should have these great, what we call Cascadian notes, these West Coast hop notes. And man, was it so good that we are releasing another one next week. So we're going to keep this
what are we
going.
doing?
The West Coast, we're calling it Hoppy Horse. We'll have to work on that name. But it's
So many notes.
Well, they don't go anywhere because we suck at marketing.
well,
What is the name of this beer?
we don't have a good name yet. So
Well, and we're
Hoppy Horse is where we're
well, and this is I was gonna say we have fun with the White Horse is such a good base beer to add stuff to.
like pumpkin ale.
Yes, so the White Horse mixed with our autumn spice,
or our
the
pumpkin
or
ale.
the actual
Yeah.
pumpkin ale, which we haven't done a pumpkin ale in a very long time because we keep doing autumn spice. We call it the Ichabod Crane,
Just Ichabod.
or just Ichabod, and it's a good mix. It's half and half. Mm-hmm. But then
Little whipped cream on top. Very Reinheitsgebot.
So this beer
proof.
that you're coming out with is
It's a West Coast. You really could call it a black IPA. Everyone,
but
would,
is it a porter just aged in an IPA barrel?
yeah, it's
cask?
it's a porter aged on the same hops that we would age 547
Yeah,
in,
with the
and
hops,
it
yeah.
blew our minds.
could you just say dry hopped porter?
That's what it is. It's a dry hop porter, but that's kind of pedestrian. So, and at the end of the day, we didn't think we were going to call it a black IPA, but that's what we had in our glass.
So this is called Hoppy Horse.
It was that good.
Because mint chocolate pony is delicious, and this is when we had
mint chocolate
mint.
Girl Scout cookie one.
Yes, we had the thin mint. Well, not thin mints, but we had
We simulate that. yeah.
simulate mint and chocolate in the White Horse. and
That's a good one.
mint
We
chocolate
won a
pony.
beer competition with that one once.
Did we?
One of the fan favorites in Green Bay. Yeah. Anyway, water.
Sorry.
I had not forgotten that. So that's how we do the Pilsner. We put acid malt in that's produced the German way. This one doesn't need that because there's an acridity. There's a certain pH dropping potential with these dark malts that we use in this. Otherwise, you're just looking for a balance of sulfates and chlorides. So you can't just drop calcium into your beer. You have to attach it to, by way of, Allison knows better than anyone, their anion, whether that be chloride or sulfate.
I'm
And
not listening to you. I'm sorry.
anyway,
what?
so and each of those are flavor. They tilt the flavor. So we drop a little bit of calcium chloride and calcium sulfate into this beer to get our calcium levels up. But we put them in even quantities so that we don't tilt the
You know
flavor.
what's funny is I'm a chemist and I can speak chemistry, but I don't never understand when Bobby's telling me about different salts that he's adding to do different flavor things. That's on you.
Yeah.
I don't get
well,
it.
the
I'm sorry.
high level is chloride gives you more malty impression and sulfate gives you more hoppy impression.
That's fair.
So in a beer like this, I don't want to go extreme either one way or the other. This is not like a Bock where it's a malt bomb, and it's not like an IPA where it's a hop bomb. So that's really, Gary, to your question about hop or water treatment. We're going to drop both of those in at varying levels, or at even levels.
So we talked about water. We talked about the malts, where you're getting them from. Talked about how you picked the name of the beer.
Talk about how we use too many malts because a home brewer designed it, and it's a pain in the ass to brew.
I think one of the
Day
important
job.
things to talk about, though, with the White Horse is, and Gary, you said this at the beginning, about how it's one of the most prominent cask ales that we do. And the cask ale is, I mean, one, it's a spectacle to see it poured.
Jeremy just got married this year, Jeremy DeVille.
Yeah.
And we brought one across the alley to his ceremony, and he tapped it himself.
He did.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And I think that there's a ceremonial part of the cask ales that have the kind of cascade and the beautiful bubbles and the creaminess and all that. But nitro beers, so nitrogenated beers, are really trying to simulate the cask. And I think the porter is this really great historical example of what beers tasted like, 200 years ago.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think they went lighter and darker from it.
Yeah, they really celebrate like what a beer should feel like when you're drinking one.
And it screams that we should be making a smoked porter, because I think that's what they would have tasted like.
Amazingly enough, I'm so against this. I don't like smoked beers.
No, I think we definitely need to do this. I've been asked to make smoked beers by that certain contingent, that community. We've done it a few times, and they disappear really quick. Smoked beers have a lane, and boy, that's a vocal minority. Gary's
What makes a smoked beer a smoked beer?
The malt has been smoked. I mean, so you either indirectly but usually in modern times it's going to be indirect. In those times, it would have been more direct. The advent of Coke, and not the drug, but the advent of Coke, the eating source, and indirect heating has changed malting and flavor profile of beer forever.
This is like our conversation with the, oh goodness, what was his name? I'm looking to David, the historian. On
Howes,
yes,
Scotland, doctor.
We're playing charades.
Lewis Howes,
yes,
I think.
yes,
No, it's not.
No.
Anton. Oh, yeah.
yes.
I follow him on Twitter.
Anyway,
All right. I think we've kind of any last words on the White Horse?
Only that it's inspiring us to get a tiny horse, which I have a lead on. I want
We
to
are
have
not
our own
getting a
little
tiny
Shire
horse.
horse. We're going to deliver beer on College Avenue.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah.
no.
Our farmer has a horse that sits idle 6 days a week. It also can be a unicorn for birthday parties.
Stop
That's
it.
an add-on.
This is not okay.
Is it white?
It is. Actually, now that you mention it,
Although I would really like to have a brown horse.
Wizard of Oz. For this other beer that you don't have a name for? Horse of a different color.
there it is. There it is.
No, hoppy horse. Just call it what it is.
This is where we are terrible at it. We make the product, we kick it out the door, and we hope for the best.
All right, that's going to conclude this episode of Respecting the Beer. The producer of Respecting the Beer is David Kelso, and without David, this show would not exist. Please join the Facebook group to get updates between the episodes, and join the Patreon page where you can get all sorts of things like all the bits that are cut out of the regular episodes and access to special beers. Links to both of these are in the show notes. And until next time, please remember to respect the beer.